At 9:17 a.m. on Thursday, June 12th, I was watching three men remove the deadbolt from my own front door. I know the time because my driveway camera overlay displays it in the top left corner. June 12th, 2025, 9:17 and 43 seconds Central Standard Time. The drill whined. Metal shavings fell across the cedar porch my father helped me stain 2 summers ago. Behind the contractor stood a woman in a navy blazer, oversized sunglasses, and a Harbor Ridge HOA clipboard tucked against her chest like a badge. Her name is Linda Caraway, HOA board president. Go ahead, she told the locksmith. The lien was perfected last month. I was standing 10 feet away. This property is not in your district, I said evenly. You are actively committing criminal trespass under Texas Penal Code 30.05. She didn't even look at me. You were notified of unpaid fines totaling $18,460, she replied. Failure to comply triggers seizure authority. Seizure authority. On my lake house. Parcel 17B, clear title. No HOA encumbrance. The locksmith hesitated. Ma'am, is there a court order? Linda turned toward him sharply. We don't need one. That was when the dock crew started unbolting my boat lift. 3 separate crews. Coordinated. They weren't bluffing. They were taking my property. And they believed they had the paperwork to justify it. They didn't know I had mine too. I'm 42 years old, a licensed civil engineer specializing in municipal infrastructure. I design drainage systems and review subdivision plats for a living. Boundaries are literally my profession. 2 years earlier, in March 2023, I purchased the lake house at 214 County Road 1187, Lake Briarwood, Texas. It's a modest cedar structure on 0.82 acres. According to County Appraisal District records, it's listed as parcel ID 42-7C-17B. The deed references volume 3184, page 442 of the Brazos County official records. Before closing, I did what I always do. I pulled the subdivision plat, verified setbacks, floodplain overlays, easements, and restrictive covenants. Harbor Ridge HOA governs parcels 1 through 16A under the declaration recorded as instrument hashtag 2014-009821. Parcel 17B, my parcel, is not listed. Not adjacent annexation. Not supplemental declaration. Nothing. In fact, there's a 12-foot drainage reserve that physically separates my property from the Harbor Ridge boundary. I triple-checked. For 2 years, I enjoyed quiet weekends. Fishing at sunrise. Coffee on the dock. Minimal neighbor interaction. Then, in September 2024, I received my first letter. Notice of architectural violation, unauthorized dock extension. It was addressed to Harbor Ridge member, Lot 17. I emailed back politely. Parcel 17B is not subject to your association. Please verify your records. No response. 2 weeks later, I received a certified letter, USPS tracking number 702204100029,981.4473. This one claimed failure to remedy noncompliant exterior paint color and unapproved boat lift installation may result in fines up to $150 per day. That was my first red flag. Because fines can only be assessed against members. I replied again. Attached copy of my deed. Attached plat map highlighting boundary. Silence. Then the invoices started. $150. $300. $1,200. $4,500. By January 2025, they claimed I owed $18,460 in accumulated violations. And that's when the phrase lien enforcement appeared. They weren't just confused. They were escalating. So I began building my evidence ladder. The first rung was simple documentation. I downloaded the original 2014 Declaration of Covenants from the county clerk website. PDF timestamp January 8, 2014, 10:42 a.m. It explicitly lists parcels included under Exhibit A. My parcel number does not appear anywhere in that exhibit. Legally, that matters because restrictive covenants run with the land only if recorded against that land. Second rung. I ordered a certified copy of my deed from the recorder's office on February 3, 2025, receipt #RC558921. The title commitment shows no HOA encumbrances, no cross-reference, no supplemental declaration. Third rung. I accessed the county GIS mapping portal and overlaid the Harbor Ridge subdivision shapefile with tax parcel layers. I exported the overlay as a timestamped PDF. The boundary line ends 12 feet short of my western property line. Jurisdiction is geographic. That map proved absence of authority. Fourth rung. I requested, in writing, the HOA's basis for claiming jurisdiction. On February 11th, I sent a certified demand letter. USPS tracking number 702204100029,981.4527. They never responded. Fifth rung. On March 2nd, I attended an HOA meeting, though I was not a member. I recorded the session openly on my phone. Texas is a one-party consent state. Linda stated on record, all properties along the South Shoreline are de facto members. De facto membership has no legal standing in property law. Sixth rung. On March 18th, I discovered a document recorded on February 27, 2025, Boundary Clarification Amendment. Instrument #2025-004411. It purported to correct an omission and include Parcel 17B into Harbor Ridge. I pulled the document. The Notary Commission stamp read, Commission expires December 2023. It was notarized in February 2025. Seventh rung. I verified the notary's status through the Texas Secretary of State database. Her commission had indeed expired 14 months prior. An improperly notarized instrument can be challenged as invalid. Eighth rung. Metadata analysis. The amendment PDF filed with the county had creation metadata dated February 26, 2025 at 11:58 p.m. The board meeting minutes approving it were dated March 5, 2025. They recorded it before approving it. Ninth rung. I hired a licensed surveyor, Mark Ellison, survey license number 6214, to physically restake the boundary. His sealed survey, dated April 4, 2025, reaffirmed the original plat lines. 10th rung. I retained an attorney. On April 10, 2025, attorney Carlin Gwynn filed a demand to release invalid lien and notice of disputed claim under Texas Property Code Section 12.0071. We sent it certified and via email. They doubled down. The first escalation was vendor intimidation. On April 18th, my landscaping contractor called me. Hey, he said quietly, HOA president came by. Said if we service your property, we'll lose contracts inside Harbor Ridge. That's tortious interference. I asked him to forward the voicemail Linda left. He did. In it, she said, you're working on a non-compliant property. Continued service will be considered aiding violation. I saved the file. Converted it to WAV. Stored 3 backups. The second escalation was lien recording. On May 1, 2025, they recorded a notice of assessment lien under instrument #2025-006902. Amount, $21,760 including administrative enforcement fees. My attorney responded within 48 hours with a sworn affidavit disputing validity. The third escalation was smear campaign. A flyer appeared on Harbor Ridge community boards, non-compliant shoreline property undermines home values. It included a photo of my dock. I photographed every posted copy. Noted locations. Date stamped. The fourth escalation was authority complaints. On May 14th, County Code Enforcement showed up responding to unpermitted dock extension. I calmly handed the inspector permit #LB 2023-4472 issued June 2, 2023. He inspected. Signed off. Closed complaint. He also said something interesting. We've had 3 complaints about this property. Same complainant. Linda. Fifth escalation, forged dues ledger. On May 28th, I received a ledger showing member ID, HR 17. That ID did not exist in their 2014 membership roster I'd obtained through a records request. They had created a member profile for me. Sixth escalation, contractor seizure attempt. Which brings us back to June 12, 9:17 a.m. They had hired Lakefront Asset Recovery LLC. Work order #LR5521. The document authorized physical securing of asset pending foreclosure under HOA authority. There was still no court order. I stepped closer to Linda. Provide the judicial foreclosure order, I said. We operate under self-help provisions, she replied. There are no self-help foreclosure provisions for non-members. I called my attorney at 9:21 a.m. She answered on second ring. Are they physically on site? She asked. Yes. Locksmith and dock crew. Do not obstruct. Keep filming. At 9:34 a.m., she filed an emergency application for temporary restraining order in Brazos County District Court. Case number 25-1432-361. By 11:12 a.m., we had a hearing set for 2 p.m. the same day. Meanwhile, I informed the contractors there was pending litigation. The locksmith stepped back. I'm not touching this without a judge, he said. The dock crew slowed. Linda kept insisting. They owe money. We're authorized. She never once produced a court order. At 1:10 p.m., while preparing exhibits for court, my attorney noticed something else in the boundary clarification amendment. The signature page listed 3 board members. 2 signatures matched prior filings. The third, Linda's, had a subtle digital artifact. Slight pixelation around the signature curve. Carla overlaid it with Linda's signature from a 2024 annual report. They were identical down to stray ink marks. It was copy-pasted. More importantly, the amendment referenced board resolution dated February 20, 2025. We had obtained certified meeting minutes. There was no meeting on February 20th. The February meeting occurred on February 12th. The next was March 5th. There was no resolution authorizing annexation. We printed enlarged copies. Highlighted metadata timestamps. Highlighted expired notary commission. At 1:52 p.m., we walked into courtroom 3B. The courtroom smelled like old wood and paper. Judge Ramirez presided. Case number 25-1432-361, the clerk announced. Petition for temporary restraining order. Carla stood. Your Honor, this association is attempting extrajudicial foreclosure on property not subject to its covenants. Linda's attorney argued they had corrected an omission. Judge Ramirez leaned forward. Show me where Parcel 17B is included in your original declaration. Silence. They handed up the boundary clarification amendment. Carla approached with our exhibits. Your Honor, this amendment was notarized by an individual whose commission expired December 2023. The judge examined the seal. Counsel? Linda's attorney shuffled papers. Carla continued. The document metadata shows creation February 26th at 23:58 hours. The board resolution it references does not exist in certified minutes. Furthermore, annexation requires 67% member approval under Section 9.3 of their own declaration. No such vote occurred. Judge Ramirez looked directly at Linda. Did your board conduct a membership vote? Linda hesitated. We believed shoreline properties were implicitly included. That was not my question. No, she admitted quietly. The judge turned back to counsel. This court finds substantial likelihood of invalid lien and improper enforcement action. He signed the order. Temporary restraining order granted. Association is enjoined from entering, seizing, or interfering with plaintiff's property pending further hearing. He looked at Linda one more time. You do not seize property without jurisdiction. The contractors packed up before sunset. The dock bolts were resecured. The locksmith left without changing anything. Within 2 weeks, under court pressure, Harbor Ridge filed a release of lien, instrument hashtag 2025-007821. They issued written retraction letters to vendors. My attorney filed for sanctions. Faced with potential fraud investigation over the notarized amendment, their insurance carrier intervened. Settlement terms were clear. They paid $32,000 covering attorney fees and damages. They formally acknowledged Parcel 17B is not subject to Harbor Ridge covenants. Linda resigned on August 4, 2025. The association adopted a policy requiring third-party legal review before recording amendments. The notary incident was referred to the Secretary of State. No criminal charges were filed, but the amendment was voided. Everything they recorded against my property was expunged. Last Saturday, I sat on my dock at 6:42 a.m. watching fog lift off Lake Briarwood. Coffee in hand. No contractors. No clipboards. No threats. Just water. The drainage reserve still separates my land from theirs. 12 quiet feet of grass and stone. I didn't celebrate loudly. I didn't need to. Because this was never about shouting matches or social media battles. It was about paper. Recorded documents. Timestamps. Statutes. Procedure. Linda believed authority was something you declared confidently enough. It isn't. Authority is something you prove. And you don't beat a Karen by yelling. You beat her with clean records.